Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you today. We got some Citibank news. We got more damning evidence of former SEC chair's actions, or rather lack thereof. Oh, you're going to like it. And it's not what you've seen before. James K. Filan lays it out for all of us, and so does John Deaton. We hear from a Ripple executive on where we're going and just how big it all really is when we get there. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. By the way, check out I Trust Capital. The numbers are brought to you by the best crypto IRA, gold, crypto, silver IRA on the planet, bar none. Don't believe it? It's still true. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description. Let's look at the numbers really quickly. 1.3 trillion. Not a lot of money here. If we want to see some price action, this number's got to come up, and watch it trickle down to where they're going to put it. Right here, we're looking at a 64-cent XRP. We got a lot of information to go over. We're off by 22% on the 7-day. That's what you need to know, right? And here we are ranging right now between 57 cents on the low end and 69 cents on the high end. If we don't break through 66 and stay above it, we're probably more than likely going into the weekend going to roll back down and get into the 55, possibly 45-cent range. And you don't have to ask me what I'm going to do when I get there. I'm going to be buying the dip, baby. And that is not financial advice. Let's get to the news this morning. Attorney Seal lays it down, and he says, hey, Uphold, you think we could be getting casino coin on the platform? XRP holders would love it. It'd be a nice next logical step, because casino coin migrated to the XRP Ledger platform. Good to hear from you, XRP Attorney Seal, who is amazing. And I said, yes, please, Uphold, let's add casino coin. I'm a big fan of it. This is not financial advice. I just share my perspectives. I agree with Attorney Seal. I think it would be a very good fit, because XRP holders are very grateful in part for Uphold continuing to offer to U.S. retail investors XRP to buy. So really hope to see some forward motion on that. And let's all politely tag Uphold and see if we can get a comment back from Uphold on that. That would be great. And then here we see John McAfee has left us, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry to report this, but I want to send my condolences out to you, Janice, and the rest of the McAfee family. I really enjoyed all of John's tweets and videos, his insights on the space. He was a maverick and a Mustang, and he could not be broken. There is no question about it. And I wish you and all of your family the best. All right, so now, he did say, and I thought this was interesting, and shout out to Ashley Steers for sharing this again, because this was some time ago that he wrote this. He always believed the real Satoshi is and always has been the only person it ever could be. Joel Katz, the time is now. Looking at this piece of news right here, Squawk Box, at what point do we begin to say there has to be a limit? Because if modern monetary theory is correct and there are no limits to the budget and there are no limits to spending, then I sometimes wonder, why even worry about revenue? Why should anyone pay taxes, said Judy Shelton. And you know what? Judy Shelton, who was formerly being looked at to be nominated to the Fed from the last administration, did not get the confirmation. However, she is some kind of smart, and she's making a great point here. And I just want to get you to this so she can hear her say it. Here you go.
Causing agita in the financial markets. How badly are they painted into a corner right now?
Well, I think they are, because every nuanced statement gets analyzed to pieces by market observers. So they don't want to do anything to disrupt markets. There's a penalty to pay for that. I expect to see a reckoning, maybe next month. It'll start with Congress. I know that Senator Rick Scott from Florida has a piece of legislation called the Federal Debt Emergency Control Act. And he's saying that at some point, what do conservatives stand for? is there any limit to how much overspending can be allowed? And maybe that will cause everyone to say, who is responsible for this? Because certainly the fiscal overspending is part of it. But as you say, the Fed enables it. And so at what point do we begin to say there has to be a limit? Because if modern monetary theory is correct, and there are no limits to the budget, and there are no limits to spending, then I sometimes wonder, then why even worry about revenues? Why should anyone pay taxes? Because certainly it is true, the Fed digitally creates out of thin air purchasing power, but now is keeping it corralled in the form of excess reserves. Until we reach the point where banks are more interested in hiring a lending officer instead of the next compliance officer, I don't see a way out of this.
And there you have it right there. And really, I wanted to make the point, and shout out to Judy Shelton for her comments there. And it really does fall in line with anyone who has any practicality in the space, right? I mean, but looking into that point, the reason I wanted to show this morning is simply because of this, because I don't believe that the situation we're in is mutually exclusive to what is going on with the digital asset space. Not for a second. These two things go hand in hand. The money printing, the liquidity crisis that existed before the pandemic was here, and the emergence of digital assets, which really began after the first or the last crisis previously in 08-09, right? So I just wanted to set the tone there for where we're going, and we got a lot to look at today. So let me keep moving quickly here. Wall Street giant Citigroup launches a new business unit dedicated to cryptocurrency and blockchain space. Again, the major legacy firms, banks, and institutions understand that this is a new asset class, and they are preparing to be able to make money off of it. Here we see this. Now, this is more comments right here shared by Digital Asset Investor. I'm telling you, shout out to him for some strange reason. If you don't happen to know who that is, please go follow him. He's incredible. So this must be brought to light. Let's politely tag everyone involved in this case. If you're seeing this, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, and you could follow us in both places. Facebook is Digital Perspectives News, no spaces. If you're on Twitter, at Backup Bradley or Digital Perspectives. And politely tag everyone that makes sense to tag, whether it's a journalist, whether it's Congress officials, or whether it's people involved with the actual case itself. They need to see this information, and we need to collectively keep the pressure up because it is mounting, and the SEC can really feel it because they complained about us and called us bullies, and they are, in fact, the bully in this matter. So let's listen to this because this is very powerful, the clip that Digital Asset Investor has put together here. Look at what he's laid out here. It is absolutely devastating, and even James K. Filan has remarked on it. So let's take a look.
Now, you also talked about initial coin offerings or ICOs, which are ways of raising money using cryptocurrencies. Did you use a similar reasoning? You implied that most seem to be securities, ICOs, but some of them are not. Can you just show us what the difference is simply?
I wish we had a simple way to say this is in and this is out. As I mentioned, there are usually facts and circumstances tests. But a key factor is there a third-party promoter here who knows much more about the instrument than investors might? If that's the case, that's sort of an initial indicator that we might have a securities transaction. If people are buying it for investment and for a return and looking to that party for a return, then again, that's an indicia of a security.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the idea is that part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk. So the issuance model is that we will suppose that we hand out X Ether through the fundraiser. Then there will be about 0.5x will be pre-mined, and then 0.4x after that will be mined per year forever. So it's this hybrid of the Mastercoin and Ripple model.
In your speech that neither Bitcoin nor Ether would be considered securities and thus not under the purview of the SEC, can you very briefly explain what your reasoning is?
Sure, Bob. These are complex facts and circumstances tests, but when we look at Bitcoin or if we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third-party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So we're comfortable in some sort of viewing these as items that don't have to be regulated as securities.
He doesn't see a third party involved here for it to be an ICO, essentially, is what he's saying. Well, excuse me, Mr. Hinman, but with a monsoon of respect, you need to get your eyes checked, right? There we go right there. Shout out to DAI for that clip. And here is what they complained about. And believe me, we got a lot of other stuff to look at that. We're going to hear from Craig DeWitt, Ripple executive. It's going to tell you about where Ripple's going regardless of what's happening with this lawsuit. So hang in there. So let me get this straight. It makes us bullies because we call the SEC on their own lack of consistency to regulate and pick winners and then retreat from it. This is shared by Coining 203 right here, where it really calls the proponents of XRP have consistently used social media to disseminate negative and false statements. Well, those were William Hinman's statements. So if they're false statements, well, it's a good thing they're trying to get him subpoenaed for the deposition then, isn't it? Because this is not edited comments to where we're changing the verbiage that was being said by that person. Oh, no, no, no. These are words coming from their mouth, and they don't like having it shown back to them. That's the problem here. And it basically goes on to say a deposition of former high-ranking SEC official like Director Hinman, when coupled with these type of negative media exposure already present in connection with this case, will increase the deterrent to public service for qualified individuals like Director Hinman. Well, I got news for you. Anybody with integrity that is following what's going on here would not want to be associated with the SEC right now. That's the real story. It isn't because of the negative false statements on Twitter. It's because everyone's seeing the actual comments that they're making and that they did make in years past, and they're starting to see what's wrong with it. And I wouldn't want my reputation tarnished by being at the SEC at this point. I could tell you that much. And here is Mr. Intuitive right here, who lays it down really quickly in just a few seconds here. And he says, we ain't bullies. We just spitting facts and showing videos. And that's exactly right. Listen to this.
Second on the list, we got to talk about those digital assets. Coinbase giving you the head fake, telling you Doge and Quan are listed. Quan ain't bad, but don't chase those green candles. On to that Ripple case. Big moves for Ripple, baby. The judge told the SEC the second or third time to turn over the documents about their internal trading practices. They didn't want to do it. Why is that? Now Ripple wants to depose the ex-employee Hinman, and the SEC is opposing that motion. They're trying to squash that subpoena. Why? Why can't we ask him questions? He stated that Ethereum doesn't look like a security. Meanwhile, the SEC just said Hinman never said that. That was his opinion. Pretty sure I saw that guy testifying in front of Congress. They also said that it's not fair. Social media are making these guys out to be bad guys. We're just playing past videos. Those are facts. We're not spreading anything. Those are trumors. They ain't rumors.
There it is right there. Mr. Intuitive nailed it. And it gets even better because James K. Filan came behind it just a short time ago and dropped this on the table. And he said, what a convoluted, contradictory motion to quash. First, Hinman gives a pass to Ethereum in what is arguably the most impactful speech on digital currencies at the time, as well as in Hinman's career at the SEC. Boom. Number two, second, the SEC has Hinman held a position of critical importance to the SEC's operations. Third, the SEC then says Director Hinman has no unique first-hand knowledge of market participants' understanding as to the regulatory status of XRP offers and sales. Poppycock, right? Number three, fourth, The SEC shows its weaknesses, saying the court should quash the subpoena without prejudice until after Judge Torres' ruling on the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense. Finally, Hinman finishes it and his credibility off with the declaration that, to his best knowledge, the commission had not taken at that time and still has not taken any position or expressed a view as to whether offers and sales of Ether constituted offers and sales of a security. James K. Filan finishes with, I expect Ripple and the individual defendants are going to absolutely shred this in their response to the SEC's motion. Uh-oh. It gets better because the bulldog of XRP is out on the run again. It's John Deaton, baby. Yeah, he said my blog is definitely timely today, considering that they learned the SEC is asking the judge to quash the deposition of Bill Hinman. And he goes on to note, Clayton went to One River $1 billion crypto fund, and now Hinman gets hired by Andreessen Horowitz $2.2 billion crypto fund. Things that make you go, Make sure you read that blog. John Deaton is a beast. Right here, we see DJ Peter Vass remind us as we change gears now, heading into the Craig DeWitt comment and tweet here. We see there's more movement and suggestion about CBDCs, central bank CBDCs, and on the heels of El Salvador announcing they have made Bitcoin legal tender, thinkers suggest launching a pan-Central American digital currency is the way to go here. And I want to add to this, just more evidence. We know the BIS has fully backed CBDCs. It says here, cross-border circulation possible if central banks agree on protocols. Central bank digital currencies or CBDCs can achieve cross-border circulation if the monetary authorities in different countries agree to share individuals' personal identities, which requires international cooperation to report from the BIS stated. Okay, so now I want to play you this, or show you this. Bank of Israel official confirms a digital shekel plans. You see that this is all to show you that it's all continuing to roll out. 80% of central banks around the world are in some form of piloting and launching a central bank digital currency. Don't believe that. It's still true. Banque de France conducts a new central bank digital currency experiment consisting in the simulation on permission blockchain of government bonds. That's right. Securities, baby. Issuance by agents France, followed by several secondary market ops performed on these bonds. It just keeps getting closer to rolling it out to where it's just live. That's where we're headed here. This is from Hall of Famer DJ Peter Vass here. Real-time payments market outlook to 2028. ACI Worldwide, Temenos, PayPal, FIS, Worldline, Pfizer, and Apple. I just want to show you right here. And don't forget Ripple. Yeah, that's right. Major key players in real-time payments network. It's right here if you're having trouble seeing it. There it is, Ripple, baby. And you know what? We finish right here with Craig DeWitt laying it down like it's hot. Shout out to you, Craig. Recently released the U.S. Faster Payments Cross-Border White Paper. The future is innovation and interoperability. Sound familiar? Great collaboration across industry leaders, including Ripple, to make the U.S. more globally competitive. Stewart XRP says, how much faster? Craig DeWitt says, rocket ship versus horse and buggy. Come on in. Now, you don't suppose all of this has anything to do with the fact that Ripple pilots a private ledger for central banks launching central bank digital currencies, do you? Because I do. That is going to do it for me. And I'm not suggesting that FedNow is running on the private ledger for the banks. What I'm suggesting is that all of this is not mutually exclusive. The CBDCs that are being piloted and launched, I believe, is probably tied into this right here. and then you couple in with everything else going on with the Fed now, the real-time gross settlement system, and all of that stuff happening and moving to a new system, I absolutely believe they all are connected in some way. That's going to be my speculation, and that's going to do it for me, not financial advice. I do want to tell you before we leave, make sure you check out Unstoppable Domains, guys. They got some great new domains out on the market here. First time ever. Make sure you check them out, and check out all the links in the description box in the comment section. They are trusted, vetted links of products and services I use each and every day. If you do nothing else, be very careful what you click on out here on the internet. Scammers are everywhere. By the way, public service announcement, I never ask you for money. I never use WhatsApp. And if you see those comments on Twitter with my name or someone impersonating my account, and they're asking you to call a number, it is a scammer. It is not me. Do not click on it and do not answer it. In fact, do me a favor and help us all here to report such activity. We'll catch all of you on the next one.